name is Professor Stephen Naylor, and I'm the Chair of the Academic Board here at James Cook University, and I'm honoured to be your MC this morning. I would like to start by acknowledging the Bindal and the Wulgurugaba people as the traditional owners of this land, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. I also acknowledge the very valuable contribution that Australian and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people make to our university and to the broader community. Speaking of our community, we're also pleased to have the support of our elected representatives here this morning. Councillor Liam Mooney from the Townsville City Council, Mr Les Walker, member from Mundingborough, and Mr Aaron Harper, member for Thuringowa. I also acknowledge the Chancellor of James Cook University, Bill Tweddell, the first JCU alumnus to hold the position of Chancellor, and JCU's Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor Sandra Harding, AO. Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment I will provide you with an overview of the Outstanding Alumni Awards. But before I do, I'd like to acknowledge that this award ceremony is in its 11th year. It was introduced by our Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor Sandra Harding, in 2010 as part of the university's 40th anniversary. Sadly, this is Professor Harding's last ceremony as our Vice-Chancellor as she winds down to retirement in mid-February. On a personal note, I would like to highlight the importance of the recognition of our alumni. Our graduates carry forth the knowledge and values to which JCU will be measured by. The introduction of the Outstanding Alumni Awards has shone light onto our outstanding graduates. They demonstrate the vision of our Vice-Chancellor in ensuring that we keep our alumni in mind, finding opportunities to celebrate their achievements and keep them abreast of how the university continues to perform strongly in the areas of research, the professions and within our community. On behalf of the university community and alumni, I'd like to thank you, Professor Harding, for bringing to fruition this important tradition. Another way we have captured the achievements of our alumni is through the 50th anniversary book, The University for the North. The book was published as part of our anniversary celebrations in 2020, and it captures the history of our university and tells the stories of our staff, students and graduates. If you'd like a copy, you can pick up one from at the end of breakfast from the registration desk in the foyer. Now some housekeeping. If you haven't already, please take a moment to turn off your phones, always good manners. Note, the nearest bathrooms are located just outside the doors in the hallway and to the left. And should we need to leave this room in the event of emergency, we should do so using the emergency exits located at your right beside the bar, and the VIL staff will direct us to the assembly areas. This morning, James Cook University will honour 12 of its most outstanding alumni. They come from a wide range of disciplinary backgrounds and have made an outstanding contribution in their field of endeavour at local, state, national and international level. These alumni have changed lives, been an inspiration to others, led high-impact programs, felt strongly about issues and committed themselves to their ideals. And we very much look forward to introducing them to you shortly. The Outstanding Alumni Awards recognise graduates for their exceptional professional, academic or research contributions. And this award category has three categories that we use. The Outstanding Alumni, which is the one outstanding graduate is selected from each of the 6 colleges. There is also the Outstanding Early Career Alumni. These are the outstanding graduates, 35 years or younger, and one is selected from each college. And then there is the Chancellor's Outstanding Alumni Award. The winner of this award is selected at the discretion of the Chancellor and recognise a graduate whose contribution the Chancellor particularly wishes to acknowledge. A number of our award recipients weren't able to travel to the event today due to the border restrictions. So they'll be joining us via live or via live stream when we use their resume. We will now take a short break while breakfast is being served. So enjoy breakfast. Thank you.
on repeat. Here we go again. I'm so tired, so fed up of you messing with my buzz. You shut down, had enough. I'm just looking for that rush. I'm so tired, so fed up of you messing with my buzz. Lock your eyes, we just touched. Feel our bodies drifting up. I don't know how to be around you. I'm just trying to lose myself. I know that I just can't trust you, but you know me like no one else. Stuck up in the middle, in between you and I. Maybe just a little bit to get me by. I'm so tired, so fed up of you messing with my buzz. You shut down, had enough. I'm just looking for that rush. I'm so tired, so fed up of you messing with my buzz. Lock your eyes, we just touch. Feel our bodies drifting up. I don't know how to be around you. I'm just trying to lose myself. I know that I just can't trust you, but you know me like no one else. But you know me like no one else. You know me like no one else. I don't know how to be around you. I'm just trying to lose myself. I know that I just can't trust you, but you know me like no one else. You know me like no one else. Dream big, boy, you're gonna make it. Step tall, there's a higher road to take it. Let go of everything that you know and be wild in the mystery. I've been in the darkness for 40 days. I've been searching for holy flames, a sign to light up the way. Help me out. Can you help me out? I've been more certain of truth before. I've been called a righteous man. Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before. So can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been can feel you say, dream big, 'cause boy, you're gonna make it. Stand tall, there's a higher road you take it. Let go of everything that you know. Be wild in the mystery. Dream big, 'cause boy, you're gonna make it. Stand tall, there's a higher road you take it. Let go of everything that you know. Be wild in the mystery. Oh, come on, come on. Be wild in the mystery. Oh, you gotta let go, let go, let go. Be wild, be wild.
I hope you've enjoyed your breakfast. So welcome the audience who have joined us via live stream. Be aware that this is going out to the masses. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now reached the most important part in our program, the announcement of the Outstanding Alumni and the Outstanding Early Career Alumni Awards. The winners will be announced by our college deans and the awards presented by the Chancellor, Bill Tweddell. So I will ask you to the stage in a moment, Chancellor, so just hold forth. The award recipients, could you please make your way to the stage via the stairs to my left after your citation is read, to accept your award and have your photo taken. So, to announce the winners from the College of Public Health, Medical and Veterinary Sciences, may I call upon our new Dean, Professor Ted Winton, to take the stage. Ted.
Thank you, Stephen. It's certainly a great pleasure to have this opportunity as my first official duty for the college to award some outstanding alumni. It's a very pleasant way to start my role at the university. But thanks, Professor Naylor. Both our early career and our outstanding alumni recipients are unable to attend today because of border restrictions. However, I do have the great pleasure of telling you about them and why we wish to honour their achievements. Firstly, the College of Public Health, Medical and Veterinary Sciences Early Career Outstanding Alumni is Dr. Robert Gillies. Dr. Gillies is a qualified medical doctor, a social enterprise founder, and a passionate advocate on issues of homelessness, international poverty reduction, and adolescent mental health. Having completed numerous degrees, including a Master of Public Health and Tropical Medicine at JCU, Dr. Gillies is employed at the Alfred Hospital in Melbourne, where he is completing a fellowship with the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Psychiatrists to become a specialist child and adolescent psychiatrist. In addition to his professional qualifications and achievements, at just 31 years of age, Dr. Gillies has devoted himself to social enterprises, ones that improve the lives of our most vulnerable citizens. He has co-founded a number of charities, each one working to improve the overall societal health and well-being, particularly for marginalised groups such as those experiencing homelessness and mental illness. Perhaps most notably, Dr. Gillies is a co-founder and the current deputy chairperson of Conscious Creative Limited, which operates the Homai social enterprise and previously operated the Charity Tap franchise. Before founding Conscious Creative, Dr. Gillies established other charities that have assisted people who are experiencing social disadvantage in rural Australia and Southeast Asian countries. Dr. Gillies is truly a wonderful role model for all young Australians who are wanting to make the world a better place. He hopes to continue making a difference for young people experiencing mental illness as a psychiatrist and as a social enterprise leader into the future. Dr. Gillies graduated from James Cook University in 2016 with a Master of Public Health and Tropical Medicine with distinction. And I ask you to join me in expressing our congratulations for Dr. Gillies. Now I will move on to our Outstanding Alumni Award for 2021. This year, the award goes to Professor Brett Sutton, Victoria's Chief Health Officer. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, Professor Sutton has become a household name across Australia, certainly for me when I was living down there in Victoria. And he's become a familiar voice on the radio and a familiar face on the television, providing expert clinical and scientific advice and leadership on the coronavirus pandemic. As Victoria's Chief Health Officer, he has worked tirelessly throughout the pandemic to keep Victorians and the broad Australian public safe from COVID-19. His passion for and dedication to public health started early in his career when he obtained a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery in Melbourne, and since then he has gained extensive experience and clinical expertise in public health, in communicable diseases and in tropical medicine. His passion for these areas is exemplified through his ongoing study and the roles that he has taken on in Australia and internationally, such as in Kenya, Afghanistan and Timor-Leste. Professor Sutton's contribution to international and Australian health is significant. He has worked with international emergency and field-based organisations, including Médecins Sans Frontières, the International Rescue Committee in Kenya and Ethiopia, and John Snow International in Timor-Leste. At a time of immense pressure, Professor Sutton supported Victoria through the COVID-19 pandemic, importantly in a calm and reassuring way, while having to navigate quite a complex political environment. He is an inspirational leader in public health. Professor Sutton graduated from James Cook University in 2008 with a Master of Public Health and Tropical Medicine. Let us congratulate Professor Sutton together.
Thank you, Professor Winton. Chancellor, could you please make your way to the stage to present the remaining awards? And I'd also like to invite the Dean of the College of Science and Engineering, Professor Ron White, to announce your college winners.
Thanks very much, Professor Naylor. This year's Outstanding Early Career Alumni for the College of Science and Engineering is Jack Groudon. In 2017, Jack Groudon found himself in Papua New Guinea as part of his Bachelor of Planning Honours degree. During his visit, Jack saw firsthand that rural primary schools across the country had no access to digital learning facilities. When he realised the impact this deficit would have on the ability of students to make their way in our digital world, he donated his own laptop on the spot and promised to return to the country with more. 6 months later, after founding the not-for-profit organisation Lighthouse International at the age of 20, Jack returned to Papua New Guinea to fulfil his promise, establishing the first primary school computer lab in Papua New Guinea. Ambitious is the only way to describe Jack's vision. In 4 years since its inception, Lighthouse has grown from his mum and dad's garage to the world, providing digital learning tools and opportunities to more than 40,000 people across 44 countries. Jack is now the full-time Chief Executive Officer of Lighthouse International and aims to empower millions of individuals by 2030. Jack is inspiring people from all walks of life to make a difference in bridging the digital divide. Jack was also a finalist in the Queensland Young Australian of the Year Award this year. Jack Groudon graduated from James Cook University in 2018 with a Bachelor of Planning with honours and was awarded the Townsville City Council Prize. Congratulations, Jack. And now the 2021 College of Science and Engineering Outstanding Alumni Award goes to James Brown. Unfortunately, James isn't in person today to accept his awards, so let me share some details about his career contributions. At the tip of Western Australia's Dampier Peninsula, where the red dirt meets the pristine waters of the Kimberley coast, on the lands of the Bardi and Jawi people, you'll find one of Australia's oldest working pearl farms, Cygnet Bay. The farm is run by James Brown and his family, who have been farming South Sea pearls for 3 generations. James took up the helm of the family farm in 2000, and less than 7 years later, Cygnet Bay experienced both market and production failure due to the global financial crisis and an unknown virus impacting on their shellfish stocks. Innovative management, diversification, and a never-give-up attitude saw Cygnet Bay as one of the only 3 pearl farms to survive the tumultuous decade. Opening the family farm experience to visitors allowed James to build awareness around the ancient connection between Australian Indigenous people and the pearl shell. This enabled his commitment to improve the outcomes for Australian Aboriginal peoples of the Kimberley region. During the turbulent decade following the global financial crisis, James also established the Kimberley Marine Research Station at Cygnet Bay. The station has become a marine science hub for independent research in the region. James attributes his time at JCU as one of the driving forces behind creating the station. James's innovative approach to farm management, diversification and sustainability saw him recently named the 2021 Australian Farmer of the Year. James Brown graduated from James Cook University in 2001 with a Bachelor of Science, majoring in Biological Sciences. Congratulations, James.
Thank you, Professor White. Please welcome the Dean of the College of Healthcare Sciences, Professor Lee Stewart, to announce their award recipients.
Good morning. It is with great pleasure this morning that I announce 2 award recipients from the College of Healthcare Sciences. The first of these is unfortunately not able to be with us today. He's in Ireland, and for some reason people aren't flying around the world at the moment. So the winner of the College of Healthcare Sciences Early Career Outstanding Alumni is Ryan Winch. Now, Ryan's story is from riding a push bike to school in Townsville to walking the cobblestones of Dublin, Ireland. Ryan Winch's career demonstrates what is possible with hard work, dedication and resilience. As the global head of occupational health for multinational pharmaceutical company Novartis, Ryan became the global health and medical lead for their emergency response team during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the last 12 months, Ryan has been responsible for the global coordination of the occupational health system, which includes managing health programs in the areas of medical surveillance, psychological well-being, infectious disease control planning and response, and health risk assessment. Ryan's role covers both laboratories, research and development facilities, offices and Novartis manufacturing sites across 109 countries. Prior to joining Novartis, Ryan was based in Singapore with BP. He developed and executed their global shipping health and hygiene strategy and was responsible for medical clinics across 4 countries. Whilst much of Ryan's career has centred around big multinational companies, he's no stranger to the world of startups and entrepreneurship, having developed a tool to track and measure the hydration status of mine employees. Ryan is passionate about occupational health and hygiene and ensuring the ongoing proactive protection of the health and well-being of his workforce. Ryan Winch graduated James Cook University in 2008 with a Bachelor of Occupational Therapy. Congratulations, Ryan. Now, I'm extremely proud to announce the 2021 Outstanding Alumni for the College of Healthcare Sciences is Professor Royanne West. Royanne, growing up on her grandmother's ancestral lands in northwest Queensland, Professor Royanne West is a proud Kalkadunga and Jackandai woman. Royanne hails from a long line of healers. She credits her drive to improve Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health to the foundations laid by her grandmother and mother. Professor West completed a Bachelor of Nursing, a Masters of Mental Health Nursing, and an influential PhD that developed a model of excellence for increasing the number of Indigenous nurses in Australia. Whilst Professor West's career in health started at the grassroots level with strong eldership and mentorship from her family and community, Professor West became Australia's first tertiary hospital nursing director with a dedicated portfolio of Indigenous health. Later, she became Australia's first Professor of Indigenous Health in a joint appointment between a state health service and a university. Professor West exhibited institutional strategic leadership as Griffith University's Foundation Professor of First Peoples Health in the School of Nursing and Midwifery. She spearheaded the establishment of the First Peoples Health Unit and became the inaugural Dean of First Peoples Health. Professor West has over 25 years' experience in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health and education. Her expertise in developing strategies for integrating Australia's Indigenous people into healthcare has enabled her to become a strategic leader for universities, educational institutions and government agencies. Last year, she was acknowledged for her outstanding research leadership as the 2020 Lowicha Institute Cranlana Award recipient. She is the only Aboriginal nurse in the country who is the recipient of both the Sally Gould Award and Fellowship from Congress of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Nurses and Midwives, Katsunum. Professor West is currently the Chief Executive Officer of Katsunum. Professor West received her PhD from James Cook University in 2012. Following her earlier studies at Deakin University, where she obtained a Bachelor of Nursing in 1998, a Masters of Mental Health Nursing in 2008 from the University of Southern Queensland. Congratulations, Professor Royanne West. More.
Thank you, Professor Stewart. To announce the awards recipients from the College of Business, Law and Governance, please welcome Dean Professor Stephen Boyle.
Thank you, Professor Naylor. It's my pleasure to announce the College of Business, Law and Governance Outstanding Early Career Alumni is Peter Hodgson. Peter Hodgson grew up in the small town of Mareeba in North Queensland and is the first member of his family to have attended university. Right from the start, Peter was passionate and determined. After leaving school early, Peter began his study at JCU Townsville through the tertiary access pathway, going on to complete a business degree and later a master's in financial advice. In between working and studying, Peter volunteered for the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, where he raised $20,000 sailing solo from Townsville to Cairns. He also volunteered for the Lions Club Australia and Friends of Himalayan Children's Foundation. During this time, Peter discovered his true calling to help young Australians achieve financial independence. From here, he has gone from strength to strength. Peter's won numerous local and state-based awards for management and financial planning, including the Australian Institute of Management's 30 Under 30, and was a finalist in the Association of Financial Advisors Rising Star Award. Peter is now a partner at Walsh's in Brisbane, where he specialises in providing advice for medical practitioners. Peter firmly believes that customer-focused, goal-oriented advice is the key to financial independence. His advocacy for the early career stages of young Australians is what sets him apart. He volunteered for the Wealth Academy as a financial literacy speaker and worked with financial commentator Noel Whittaker during the federal government's Money Smart Week. Peter is indeed a perfect role model for young people from rural towns, demonstrating tenacity and perseverance to achieve one's goals. Peter Hodgson graduated James Cook University in 2012 with a Bachelor of Business majoring in Management and Marketing and was awarded the Academic Medal. Congratulations, Peter. And it's with great pleasure that I announce the college's Outstanding Alumni for 2021 is Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson is an outspoken advocate for the power of responsible, sustainable revenue systems to underpin a nation's prosperity, way of life, social equity and political stability. While acknowledging that tax is not the most interesting conversation to have, Mark has dedicated his life to innovating, implementing and administrating revenue systems in Australia and around the world. The son of a Burdekin mill worker and a school teacher, Mark grew up in Brandon as a typical North Queensland kid, even cutting cane for pocket money. Mark enrolled in a commerce law degree at JCU to advance his career at the Australian Tax Office in Townsville. He was among the institution's first cohorts, beginning his studies at the original Pimlico campus. He still reflects on how JCU opened his mind, not just to new knowledge, but to new ways of thinking. In a distinguished career spanning 5 decades, Mark has worked on some of Australia's most significant projects, including the introduction of the GST, transformation of the corporate tax system, and implementation of electronic invoicing. However, his proudest contribution came during his time as an International Monetary Fund tax advisor, where he contributed to the financial stability and standard of living in a number of developing nations across Asia and the Middle East. Sadly, Mark lost his beloved wife Sue earlier this year. But since then, he has focused more closely on his work, cognizant of the legacy he would like to leave to the Australian community. Mark Jackson graduated James Cook University in 1985 with a Bachelor of Commerce and in 1992 with a Master of Commerce, and he was awarded the 1982 State Government Insurance Office Prize. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you, Professor Boyle. I'd like to call upon the College of Medicine and Dentistry Dean, Professor Sarah Larkins, to announce the winners.
Thank you very much, Professor Naylor. Vice-Chancellor, Chancellor, guests and colleagues, it's my great pleasure to be up here to announce the winners of the College of Medicine and Dentistry Outstanding Alumni Awards. So first, I'll start with the winner of the College of Medicine and Dentistry Outstanding Early Career Alumnus Award, Dr. Tony Bridson. Unfortunately, Tani as well has been prevented from attending with the border restrictions, as she's currently in Victoria. But I'll share with you why she was deservedly chosen for this award. Growing up in a rural town in far north Queensland, Dr. Tony Bridson experienced firsthand the challenges of accessing healthcare, medical care in rural locations. It was these challenges that inspired Dr. Bridson to pursue a career in medicine. During her medical studies, one of Dr. Bridson's mentors sadly ended their own life. It was at this point that she realised that too many health professionals and medical students were suffering in silence, afraid to seek help because of shame or stigma around mental health. Dr. Bridson decided to start a small WhatsApp chat group that linked these health professionals with their peers who had experience in mental wellbeing. In just 2 years, that simple WhatsApp group has grown into a wide network of over 2,000 health professionals, volunteering and connecting to support each other through tough times. It has become the Hand in Hand Peer Support Foundation. The overwhelming success of the Hand in Hand Peer Support Foundation has led Dr. Bridson to dedicate her career to improving mental health in the field of medicine. She has recently taken up a role as a PhD student with Origin in Victoria, whilst completing her psychiatry training. Dr. Bridson is eager to foster awareness that suicide and mental health issues are more prevalent in doctors and health professionals than in any other profession. By introducing peer support to healthcare settings, Hand in Hand has the potential to change the culture of workplaces all around the country. For Dr. Bridson, the possibilities are endless. Dr. Tani Bridson graduated James Cook University in 2017 with a Bachelor of Medical Science with First Class Honours and a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. She was awarded the Rural Doctors Association of Queensland Prize, the Townsville Hospital Emergency Department Trust Fund Critical and Crisis Care Year 6 Prize and the University Medal. Since this citation was written, Dr. Bridson has also been selected as the Queensland Young Australian of the Year, so she's now in the running for the National Award, along with another JCU MBBS grad, Dr. Daniel Knorr, who is the New South Wales Young Australian of the Year. So well done, Dr. Tani Bridson, and congratulations on your award. So now to the 2021 College Outstanding Alumnus. And it's my absolute pleasure to announce that this year the award goes to Professor Andrew Mallet. Following the success of his first renal genetics clinic, Professor Andrew Mallett's multidisciplinary clinic model has been rolled out nationally across 17 locations. Professor Mallet now co-leads the first and largest renal genetics clinical service and program in Australia, while leading local clinical trial efforts to identify new treatments for genetic kidney disease and bring global research back to families and individuals in need. As one of just a handful of national experts specialising in inherited kidney disease and nephrogenetics, Professor Mallet is recognised internationally for his work with clinical care and research. He's currently returned to North Queensland as the Director of Clinical Research, Consultant Nephrologist and Professor of Medicine at Townsville University Hospital and James Cook University. In 2016, Professor Mallet established and is now National Director of the KidGen Collaborative, an Australian genomics-supported national consortium to advance clinical care, research and translation for patients and families affected by inherited kidney disorders. This work has resulted in multidisciplinary renal genetics clinics opening across Australia. In addition, the Medical Services Advisory Committee recently recommended the future Medicare benefits listing of genomic testing for genetic kidney disease. Dr. Mallet has also identified new diagnostic pathways for Australian patients with unexplained kidney failure. As a passionate advocate for better treatment of genetic kidney disease, Professor Mallett has brought his work to the community to make an immediate difference. He's committed to improving the understanding of inherited kidney disease, as well as the clinical care and outcomes of Australians affected by it. Growing up in Bowen, in regional Queensland, Andrew is a shining example of the strength and dedication regional areas can instil in people. So Professor Mallett graduated James Cook University in 2007, our second cohort, with a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. Congratulations, Professor Mallett, on your award.
Thank you, Professor Larkins. Ladies and gentlemen, to announce the final two winners, please welcome College of Arts, Society and Education Dean, Professor Anne-Marie Morgan.
Thank you, Professor Naylor. It's my great pleasure to announce these awards. The College's Outstanding Early Career Alumni for 2021 is Matija Squire. Unfortunately, Matija was unable to join us in person today, but I'll share with you some of her story. Matija began her academic journey seeking to provide a brighter future for herself and her family. Despite the stigma of being a teen parent and the hardship that followed, she set out to prove that anyone is capable and worthy of an education. Matija studied a dual degree in business management and arts and languages. During her studies, she completed an exchange program in Japan, where she participated in an entrepreneurship program, which became the inspiration behind launching her first startup company in 2017. Today, Matija is an executive consultant for multinational companies, a startup mentor, researcher and lecturer. She was inducted into the Universal Business School, Sydney, as a Fellow of the Centre of Entrepreneurship, sharing her industry expertise with future entrepreneurs. Matija has worked across Japan, the US and the Philippines, serving 2 terms as a board director of the Australia-Philippines Business Council. She is an accomplished lecturer, speaker, mentor and chief operating officer of the Paradigm Effect. Matija believes that your circumstances should never dictate your potential. No matter where you begin, everyone can define their own future. Matija Squire graduated from James Cook University in 2019 with a Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Business. Congratulations, Matija. It's my very great pleasure now to announce the Outstanding Alumni for the College of Arts, Society and Education, who is Dr. Alex Robson. When Dr. Robson was learning about the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, in an economics lecture at JCU, he probably never dreamed he'd one day become Australia's ambassador to this international organisation. As ambassador, Dr. Robson was responsible for representing Australia's interests among the 37 other like-minded advanced economies on a vast range of policy topics, including foreign investment, trade, agriculture, taxation, banking, the environment, education and health. Dr. Robson is an accomplished economist with more than 20 years' experience. He completed his PhD at the University of California, Irvine. He has served as Chief Economist and Senior Economic Advisor to Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, was Director at Deloitte Access Economics, and has held academic positions across Australia. Dr. Robson has also authored books and regularly consults on the ASX 200 companies and for government departments in Australia and New Zealand. Returning to Australia this year, Dr. Robson has taken up a position as Associate Partner at EY in Brisbane. Dr. Robson's belief that individual freedom is the key to economic prosperity and dignity has driven him from Townsville to Paris and back again, championing economic policy reform and development. Dr. Alex Robson graduated from James Cook University in 1994 with a Bachelor of Arts with First Class Honours. Congratulations, Dr. Robson.
Thank you, Professor Morgan. Chancellor, could you please remain on the stage for a moment? And aren't our winners just the most exceptional group of alumni? And haven't they set a superb standard for our current students, indeed all of us to aspire to? And what about those early career award winners like Dr. Tani Bridson, who's followed her passion improving mental health to brighten the lives of her colleagues in a time where they face pressure of global pandemic? She is being further recognised, as was mentioned, as the Queensland's Young Australian of the Year for 2022. Or Ryan Winch, who has gone from humble beginnings in Townsville across the world to Dublin, Ireland, to find himself at the forefront of manufacturing the COVID-19 vaccine. And of course, Jack Groudon, former member of our JCU advancement team, who left us to follow his dream, empowering those in the low-resourced areas with access to education and technology through his charity, Lighthouse. Let's put our hands together for all the early career alumni winners: Robert, Jack, Ryan, Peter, Tani and Matija. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, there is a third award category, the Chancellor's Outstanding Alumni Award. The winner of this award is selected at the discretion of the Chancellor from the college winners, excluding the early career winners, and is someone whose contribution the Chancellor particularly wishes to acknowledge. Would you please welcome Chancellor Bill Tweddell to announce the award winner.
Thank you very much, Stephen, and good morning, distinguished guests, fellow alumni, university colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. This is a real honour for me to be with you at this breakfast again. For me, the event is really one of the highlights of the year. It's an opportunity to reconnect with and to celebrate those alumni who have excelled in their careers. This means a great deal to me, having, of course, been a graduate as well, and having been honoured myself in the Outstanding Alumni Award in the inaugural year of 2010. I somehow wondered I'd walked into the wrong room when I looked around me at some of the other awardees, as you've seen today. As you've heard, Professor Sandra Harding introduced these awards, and it's one of the many things I think James Cook University has to be grateful to Sandra for. During the 40 years between graduating from JCU and returning as your Chancellor, I made an effort to stay in touch with JCU. I'm really very glad I did, and very pleased that so many of you have done the same, because you and we are members of an important family, the network of JCU alumni. Your university and other alumni like me and my wife Chris, who's also a graduate here, want to be able to follow your achievements and to take pride in them. As you've heard, as Chancellor of JCU, I have a very proud duty and an enormously difficult task of choosing and announcing the recipient of the Chancellor's Outstanding Alumni Award from among the college award winners. This is not a best of the best award, as you've heard. Rather, the Chancellor's Award goes to someone of the Chancellor's choosing whose particular achievements resonate strongly with the Chancellor and whose contributions they particularly wish to acknowledge. As I've said, this was a difficult task again this year. In making my choice, as you've seen, I had to choose and consider alumni who have made remarkable contributions locally, nationally, internationally, by representing Australia's economic interests on the world stage, by dedicating their life to improving healthcare for Australia's Indigenous people, by contributing to financial stability and improving the standard of living of developing nations, by leading the way in research and treatment of genetic kidney disease, through developing innovative farming practices and marine research, and by lending expert public health advice to support an Australian state through the COVID-19 pandemic. All of our College Award winners, as you've seen, are inspirational role models who have demonstrated outstanding work in their fields of endeavour. All have a right to be extremely proud of their achievements, as we all are. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to announce that my choice as the Chancellor's Outstanding Alumni for 2021 is Professor Royan West. Before I trouble Professor West out of her seat again, to ask her to join me on stage to accept this award, let me tell you just a few things about why her achievements resonated so strongly with me. One of the reasons I was interested to take on the role of Chancellor was my pride in and my identification with JCU's focus on improving education and health outcomes for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Queenslanders, or throughout our country. It's an important part of what we do. It's an important part of what we strive for in the communities we serve, and Professor West is the embodiment of that. As you've heard, she's dedicated her life to improving healthcare for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. You've heard from her background, I won't repeat that, but throughout her career, she's found ways to improve the healthcare system for Indigenous Australians. Professor West has made a real difference in the lives of her patients, students and her community, and that is why I wish to honour her today. Professor West, will you please join me on stage to accept your award? Watch those balloons, I'll push you off the stage.
Wow. I actually, if anyone who knows me, it's not very often that I'm stumbling for words, but this is truly an honour. Born and raised in North Queensland, JCU is the university that I'll always be loyal to, irrespective of the multiple universities that I've moved in between across my career. It provided not only an opportunity for me, but it provided a lifeline out of some really challenging circumstances, being an Aboriginal kid, being raised in a rural and remote area where the university degree was the furthest thing from our minds as kids. There's a number of people I would like to acknowledge. It's an honour to have my big sister Priscilla here and my partner David. My family often sees me going away and they're left babysitting my kids or looking after their house, so it's nice to actually have them here with me today. Professor Lee Stewart was one of my PhD supervisors. Dr. Lenore Guyer, a friend and a colleague who stood beside me through some very difficult times, and Dr. Vicky Saunders are also here. Working in Aboriginal health is a challenging area. My first training in Aboriginal health was in Mount Isa and then here in Townsville, so very fortunate to be rooted in North Queensland. Certainly a lot of things that we are doing that are very exciting, and the possibilities for North Queensland and for JCU are truly endless. Not much more to say except thank you very much, everybody. I want to also congratulate the other awardees. It was completely unexpected, especially given the calibre of the other awardees this morning, so it is truly an honour, and thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor, and congratulations again, Professor West. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes James Cook University's Outstanding Alumni Awards ceremonies for 2021, and congratulations again to Professor West and all of our winners. In just a few moments, we will be taking a group photo of our award recipients. So if our award recipients could make their way to the stage after the ceremony with their awards, that would be terrific. I wish to thank all of you who have found some time to join us to celebrate the outstanding achievements of our alumni, whether it was in person or via the live stream. It's worth reflecting again on the vision and the huge contribution that our Vice-Chancellor has made to the organisation in creating these awards. Whilst this may be Professor Harding's final formal Outstanding Alumni event and will be touched with a tinge of sadness, I am certain she leaves us knowing that we are all so much better for this wonderful initiative she has created. I'm sure she hopes the event continues to flourish and throws light on how our JCU achievements can be measured by our graduates, who certainly have made a difference. And just a reminder, if you'd like to read more about our wonderful alumni and the rich history of our university, please pick up a copy of our 50th anniversary book, A University for the North, at the registration desk on your way when you leave the room. Safe travels and all the very best for the Christmas season. Thank you very much.